I have yet to see a single example of Angel Reese being a leader. Outside of rebounding her own missed layups, what does Angel Reese do? What is her contribution? You tell me, because I'm not seeing it. I know I'm harsh on Angel Reese, but she considers herself a star. If you're going to call yourself a star, I expect you to perform like a star, especially in big moments. Caitlin Clark was injured. Angel Reese was the only star on the court last night, and for 27 minutes, she completely disappeared.
I have yet to see a single moment where Angel Reese takes control as a leader, aside from chasing down her own missed layups. What exactly is her role? What impact does she have on the game? Because if there's a moment of star-level performance, I've missed it. Yes, I've been critical of Angel Reese, but that's because she calls herself a star. And if you're going to claim that title, you've got to show up when it matters most. Last night, with Caitlin Clark out and the spotlight squarely on her, Angel Reese vanished for 27 straight minutes. On the league's biggest stage, she had the worst performance of her career. This wasn't just a random off night. It happened at the United Center, home of the Chicago Bulls, the largest arena in the NBA. With a primetime national TV audience watching, the stage was set. The crowd was huge, and yet just 4 points on 2 of 7 shooting as the Indiana Fever blew the Chicago Sky off the court by 27 points. And let's not forget, the Fever were missing Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and their head coach. The humiliation was complete. But if you think that's brutal, wait until we show you the moment on live TV that sealed it. When Caitlin Clark, despite not even suiting up, managed to remind everyone exactly who the real star is. You're going to want to stick around for that. And if you're already fired up, drop a "Fire the Baby Giraffe" in the comments. The internet is having a field day with this one. Fans are calling it a blowout, a beatdown, a full-on basketball BBQ. The Fever didn't just win, they dismantled the Sky.
Well, there's a lot of reaction coming in from last night's drubbing, destruction, annihilation, cremation, whatever you want to call it, roasting, sauteed, whatever your form of cooking may be. But the Indiana Fever absolutely dismantled the Chicago Sky.
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. It's because of me too, and I want you to realize that.
Last night was somewhat of a big moment for Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado. For starters, the WNBA moved the game out of the local dump the Bravado usually play in and relocated to the United Center, which is the largest arena in the NBA, holding over 20,000 people. Now, to their credit, there seemed to be a good crowd in the United Center last night. I had someone who was at the game send me a few pictures, and most sections seemed to be filled. It wasn't a sellout, but there was supposedly over 19,000 people in attendance. Of course, it's easier to draw a decent crowd when tickets are selling for $3 hours before the game starts.
And while we're on the subject of ticket sales, when Clark was ruled out, prices for the game crashed faster than a bad meme stock. You could snag a seat at the United Center for just $3. That's not a joke. You can't even get gas station sushi for that price. This game was supposed to be Angel Reese's chance to prove she could command the spotlight without Caitlin Clark's orbit pulling in the fans. The Sky's front office and PR machine had been hyping her as a co-star, a draw in her own right. Reese herself even claimed in an interview, "Years from now, people will say they watched women's basketball not just because of one person, but because of me." She still won't say Clark's name out loud. But when reality hit, it hit hard. As soon as Clark was officially ruled out with a quad injury, resale prices nosedived from triple digits to pocket change. Tickets that were being resold for $70 or more dropped to $3 the moment Clark's absence became public. It was a brutal market correction and a wake-up call about who's actually putting fans in seats. To make it even more awkward, this was supposed to be Reese's breakout in a major arena. The WNBA moved the game from the Sky's smaller venue to the United Center for maximum exposure. Over 19,000 fans showed up. Not bad at face value. But when you realize people were posting screenshots of $3 tickets on social media with crying, laughing emojis, you start to see what really drew the crowd. It wasn't Angel Reese. And about that entrance, Reese showed up to the arena like it was a fashion show. The boots, the hat, the matching everything. That outfit was coordinated top to bottom.
Last night was somewhat of a big moment for Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado. For starters, the WNBA moved the game out of the local dump the Bravado usually play in and relocated to the United Center, which is the largest arena in the NBA, holding over 20,000 people. Now, to their credit, there seemed to be a good crowd in the United Center last night. I had someone who was at the game send me a few pictures, and most sections seemed to be filled. It wasn't a sellout, but there was supposedly over 19,000 people in attendance. Of course, it's easier to draw a decent crowd when tickets are selling for $3 hours before the game starts.
Oof. What an outfit Angel Reese was rocking. She put a lot of time, a lot of effort into making sure her ensemble was on point. Are my boots matching my jacket? Are my gloves matching my hat? Angel Reese put in tons of time for this outfit, which begs the question, does Angel Reese put in more time in her outfits for the pre-game catwalk, or does she put in more time to actually get better at the game of basketball? There were people in the crowd getting there early saying, "Hey, Caitlin, can you sign my jersey? Hey, Aaliyah, can you sign my shirt? Hey, Sophie, can you sign my picture?" There were people asking for autographs in the Chicago Sky crowd that weren't even born yet the last time the Chicago Sky scored this little amount of points. There were people in the crowd who weren't even a thought in their parents' minds at the time that the Chicago Sky last scored at least 52 points, the lowest point total since 2011.
But here's the thing. If you're putting more time into your pre-game look than your shot mechanics, maybe that explains the performance we saw. Let's go back to what happened on the court. 4 points in 27 minutes, missed 5 of 7 shots, turned the ball over, got stuffed on a layup, and all of it happened on one of the WNBA's biggest national broadcasts. Possibly the first time CBS gave this kind of platform to a regular season WNBA game in primetime. This was historic, and Reese didn't just struggle, she imploded. By halftime, the Sky looked flat. By the fourth quarter, fans were heading for the exits. No one expected Chicago to win easily without Clark, but no one expected them to completely collapse either. This wasn't a competitive loss. It was a showcase of just how far the Sky and Reese are from where they claim to be. Want a stat that tells the whole story? Caitlin Clark is averaging more assists per game than Angel Reese is averaging points. Yes, you heard that right. Clark is handing out more buckets than Reese is making. That's not narrative, that's numbers. Reese looked overwhelmed, lost. Her body language said it all. Slumped shoulders, frustrated claps, eyes darting toward the bench. She wasn't just missing shots. She was missing presence, poise, leadership. Every possession felt like a struggle. This game added another chapter to an ugly trend. Back on May 17th, the Fever crushed the Sky by 35 points. Same story. Reese tried to get physical with Clark, tried to push her around, but it didn't work. Clark torched them and walked away with the win. That was the start of this one-sided rivalry. And now, 2 games later, nothing has changed. Except now, the Fever don't even need Clark to dominate. Indiana's depth was on full display. Kelsey Mitchell dropped 17. Ari McDonald came off a hardship contract and torched the Sky with 12 points, 4 steals, and surgical precision. Aaliyah Boston added 11 points and 5 assists. Natasha Howard was rock solid. Even Lexi Hull hit a career milestone. The Fever played with purpose, chemistry, and edge. Everything the Sky lacked. Indiana racked up 20 assists on 27 made field goals. Their offense flowed. Their defense clamped down. Acting coach Austin Kelly had the team firing on all cylinders. The Fever held the Sky to just 32% shooting, and Chicago didn't have a single player in double figures. That's not a box score, that's a eulogy. Meanwhile, Reese is still starring in post-game memes. The missed layups, the air balls, the turnovers, they're all getting clipped and circulated. And the outfit? It's getting more coverage than her box score. This game wasn't just a loss, it was a referendum, and it made one thing crystal clear: this rivalry isn't close. Angel Reese didn't just get outplayed, she got exposed. And Caitlin Clark? She didn't even have to step on the court to remind us all who really moves the needle. If you're ready for the next chapter in this saga, hit like, drop a comment. Fire the baby giraffe. If you know, you know, and don't forget to subscribe. The drama isn't over, but for now, the scoreboard says everything.